you know, Erica, one of the reasons I got into this, and we've talked about this, right, is that in many ways, women have been in the dark in some ways about divorce and need to be more educated, take the reins. I always say they have to be the CEO of their own divorce. And like I said, I made a lot of mistakes. I'm curious, what do you think are the biggest mistakes high net worth women make in divorce from your experience?
I think that it depends on the woman. It depends if she's the breadwinner or if she's the stay-at-home parent, and the primary parent. It makes a difference. Um, Oftentimes, if I'm going to assume that it's the stay-at-home mom, the primary parent, they assume that everything's going to be fine, that they're going to have the same lifestyle once the divorce is over as they do prior to the divorce. They also don't have a lot of information about their finances oftentimes and the compensation of their spouse. So trying to educate people as to what the income is, how things are quantified from a financial standpoint, what life is going to look like after divorce, both with child support or spousal support, alimony, maintenance, whatever state you happen to be in, and how the courts are handling it. And also, some people think that they'll just be able to, as I said before, keep the same lifestyle, also meaning that they're not going to have to go back to work or get a job. And more likely than not, they are going to need to go back to work. You know, you have three houses, you're driving three different cars at different homes. There has to be a way to sustain it. And in a court, if the judge sees this and sees that you're not being forthright, they're going to make assumptions about your character, and an outcome is going to be determined. And a judge isn't going to look favorably upon that person. And as I said previously, equitable distribution could be handled many ways, and it isn't necessarily 50-50. And then comes into play, spousal support, all different ways to compensate people for circumstances that have spouses that aren't being forthright. And to your point, Amy, that's why it's really important to make sure you're with the right people in your process. So
Mhm.
you're not going back and saying, oh, I think I missed money. Oh, I should have spent the money. I can't tell you how many times I get calls from clients. I'd like to open up my divorce. I think he was lying or she was lying on their financial affidavit.